Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. You guys know what time it is. Time for the Q&As. Let's go ahead and get this started. All right, first question. Would you say a natural lifter can be pretty strong while staying 10% body fat? And of course, you see the above. I had to ask further questions, and I asked, get strong or maintain most of their strength if they go down that low after building it? Two very different things. And of course, he says, let's say he was always skinny. Most skinny guys are not 10% body fat, by the way. And lean bulk staying always around 10% body fat and train for strength for 5 consistent years. You mean a genetically average guy, or you mean a skinny guy who doesn't have amazing strength genetics? This is going to be very, very difficult. You know, when I talk with you guys that I like to have a lot of my clients do lean bulks and recomps, right? That's usually what we do. Lean bulks and recomps is usually ideal. That doesn't mean 10% body fat. And I think that this is a distinction that people need to understand. When you are talking about staying 10% body fat and drug-free, and I'm going to come back over to at least one of my clients who listens, no, that doesn't mean TRT. You're still technically almost natural. Okay? Because people confuse some of these things with guys who use hefty amounts of gear. Right? TRT is not comparable to using significant amounts of gear. It's just not the same thing. Let's come over to the point. 10% body fat. How much muscle do you think you're realistically going to gain while staying 10% body fat? Any of your favorite YouTubers do that? I want you guys to really look at even your favorite fitness professionals who you think might be natural. How many of them bulk and cut? I mean, seriously, the overwhelming majority. The only guys who stay lean, generally, we all know are on gear. Either they admit it or it's obvious, or they don't make any gains. Okay, the guys who stay at 10% and lower body fat and never deviate above that, do they make any progress? Like, do you look at any of them and go, yeah, man, he's gained a bunch of muscle and strength in the last 3 years. He's put 60 pounds on his squat and 80 pounds on his deadlift in that time. Do you see that happening? Or they stay exactly the same size and strength and maybe even lose a little bit over the years? Usually the latter. So I want you to think about that. Do you think that's possible? Probably not. Right, when we start talking about recompositioning or very, very lean gains, we're not talking about guys who are really, really lean already. That doesn't work. 10% body fat is not an ideal spot to be gaining at. It's a starting point. In other words, if you were to trim down to 10% body fat, you would be in a very, very good position to gain muscle. Now, some people say, what does gaining muscle have to do with gaining strength? Well, where do you think all your strength comes from? Not talking about some genetic freak. I'm talking about for you as an individual. For you as a person, you will have to gain X amount of muscle to gain X amount of strength that is going to be required. Muscle has weight. All right, let's come over to that. Going to have to bulk. Even the best nutrition experts who work with bodybuilders, okay? What are some of the guys you see out there for many years who have worked with natural competitive bodybuilders? What do they tell you to do? And I'm talking about the guys with advanced degrees in the field. All right, we're not talking about the bros. They tell you cut to 10% and bulk up to 15%. Do they not? Is this not repeatedly the mantra that you hear over and over and over for the last decade from the best experts? So how do you think that you're just magically going to do this? Especially if you're a skinny guy, because if you're a skinny guy, man, you're already going to struggle to gain muscle. Skinny means you're tiny. You have way more catching up to do, okay? Way more catching up to do. You remember my client, Mike? People were like, he got leaner, he got fatter. He gained 12 pounds and about 3 of it was fat. And he was above 10%. That's what it took. Now, he looks reasonably lean, still in the after. Okay? And if the best experts are telling you this, that this is what you need to do realistically, why would you expect that you can do different? I can tell you what's going to happen. You stay 10% body fat. In 5 years, you're going to make 1 year's worth of progress. That's what's going to happen. Right? So if you would look at and say, what strength level would a guy who bulked for a year straight get to after he cuts? Like he would bulk for a year and then cut. Okay? That's what you're going to do in 5 years. That's what's going to happen, realistically. That's what's going to happen. So no, it's not reasonable. Unless you have really magical genetics that allow you to do so. That's relatively rare. All right, next question. Hey Jason, I'm setting up a minimalist home gym and would really appreciate your input. My main concern is flooring, as I live in a 3-story condo and I'm at the base level and worried about overall safety first, as the parking garage is below. Is it safe to deadlift with the correct flooring, and which do you recommend? Second, to be which set of Rogue bands you recommend for conjugate. My max for the deadlift is 535 and 180 for the press. Leaving basic info in comments would be ideal, as most things are selling out online. My intention was to get coaching from you this upcoming month, but this will drain those funds. Hopefully soon in the future I will be able to. Yeah, man, it's all good. It's just the way it's going to be. I know the coaching's going to be a little rough for everyone in this period. Hit me up whenever you're ready, though. As far as this goes, you're really going to need to find out what the structural integrity is of the floor there, honestly. Ground floor condo with a parking garage under, I bet you've got a decent foundation, but you need to find out what sort of beams and stuff they have under there. Now, as a condo, you should be able to get access to this, okay? This is not an apartment. You specifically said a condo. I live in a condo. Condos are not run by management and a management office. They're privately owned. So either you're renting that condo from a direct owner or you own it. Okay? You should be able to get access to what's going on there. What I would say is that to minimize all your concerns, use the thickest wood flooring you can. In my case, I happen to use 1-inch thick wood decking. Like I have 1-inch thick wood planks. I have 2 of them. They're 4x8. And then I have foam padding underneath to protect the floor. Now, I don't have that. I have 8 feet of concrete directly under me. Concrete's 8 feet thick. I'm not going to damage it. But I do all that for safety. I would say something like that would be what you need to do. Now, fortunately, again, condo, you're not going to have to worry about management issues with noise or everything. But I would say still it would be polite to train during, times, especially deadlifts and things that you're going to bang when you're not going to disturb your neighbors. Because you probably have a homeowners association to deal with. I know that I do. And it was funny because I've had to deal with trolls actually calling the homeowners association here because they were too stupid to realize. That there's no management. They thought they were reporting me to management. They were reporting me to the homeowners association as anonymous tips that I was making too much noise. Which got laughed off because the homeowners association knows I only train during business hours and it's louder outside than in my condo. So I didn't get fined or anything. But you will have to deal with the homeowners association no matter what. Whether you own it or you rent, the owner will have to deal with the HOA. And that's usually how condos work. As far as that goes, again, you can find out the construction. But no matter what you do, the thickest flooring possible would be a wise idea, given the construction underneath. Now, for max deadlifts, it's 535. Well, what bands do you need? Well, you need to be able to go up to 25% of that for speed work. Now, you can stack Rogue bands together, right? I'm going to recommend, it's just a recommendation, get a pair of mini reds, which are 30, a pair of mini blues, which are 50, and get a pair of blacks, which are 100. Now, they're only around 80 to 85% when you use them for deadlifts over a single layer. Those numbers are usually on the squat and the bench when they're pulled up correctly. But combining those together will let you get to the number that you need. All right, that's going to be your baseline. Pair of reds, pair of blues, pair of blacks from the Rogue Monster bands. They may be out of stock for now. They'll be back in stock in the future. And when they are, buy your stuff, stock back up, you'll be fine. But what you need to think of is we're not going to use the most weight on bands during conjugate aspects. Not going to be on the maxes, it's going to be on the speed work. And your speed work, you need to have up to 25 pounds of band tension, or 25% of your 1 rep max. So hopefully this is helpful for anyone out there in similar situations. There's going to be a lot of home gym questions in these Q&As. There's going to be a lot coming up I'm going to need to do on my channel. because we are entering the era of the home gym and the virtual coach. All the coaching services and credentials and everyone are sending everybody emails right now. We're going to offer virtual coaching certifications because they know this is where everyone is going. And everyone's going to build home gyms now. This is going to make a lot of serious lifters abandon box gyms. And rightly so. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time in part 2.